Alright guys, so today I want to talk about training and training while you're feeling ill, which is something I've got a lot of experience with, and sort of rebuilding yourself after going through a stage of losing all your progress. Well, not so much losing all your progress, but losing quite a lot of progress and having to stop training for a while. So I'm just going to set up, I'm going to do some bench right now, and we're just going to talk about it. So it's a bit of a cold day. I've got these gloves to try out. So these like leather driving gloves and some big cold weather gloves, just because the metal's really cold out here today. So the main experience I had with losing most of my progress was when I went to hospital for my bowel disease, and during that time I had to stop lifting. And when I finally came out, I was itching to lift. But when I was in hospital, I was really missing it. And it's because I established it as just a habit that I do. So I'd urge all of you really to just try and set up some way that you can do some sort of exercise easily at home. And this setup that you're looking at is what I did. I decided, this was just after COVID really, or after the first lockdown, I wanted to really make lifting as easy as possible for me when I'm at home, which is why I've got this little rack, I've got this bench, and I've got myself a nice barbell. It did cost a bit, but it's worth it, because I think a lot of it is just making lifting as easy as possible for yourself. Otherwise you're not going to do it. So get yourself some dumbbells or anything really. Choose an exercise you know you don't mind doing and just start doing it at home. See how this feels. Yeah, that feels fine. So I don't warm up too much, to be honest. I'm not the best at warming up. Those that know me, I get quite quickly into it. Don't spend too long working out. But yeah, so coming back to it after some time off, or you've been ill, or maybe you currently are feeling ill, or you've got a chronic disease like I have, that you still want to keep grinding. Typically, during my flares with my bowel disease, I would be out here lifting. I would have been deadlifting right here. This is before the tiles were redone. So right now I've got these things called deadlift deadeners. If I did want to deadlift out here, they'd hit this and it would be okay. But yeah, just doing it, even if you feel trash, after you've done your exercise, you feel a lot better. Just gonna have a sip of coffee. Looks like I'm not even going to use the gloves anyway. But yeah, just doing some exercise, even if you feel awful, can go a long way. And say you're not in the routine of lifting like me, but when you fall ill, then just walking is fine. Maybe some push-ups, like with your knees on the floor if you need, or I don't know, just walking in front of the telly. Anything like that would be really helpful for getting you on the track. Right, let's do a little warm-up set. Okay, good. Yeah, 60's feeling all right today. Oh, so when I came out of hospital, the first thing I did was I deadlifted right there, and it was only 100 kilos, but I was just desperate to get back to lifting. So for me, that's a regression of quite a lot of weight, but I didn't let the weight get in the way of me doing it, if that makes sense. So just because it was 100 kilos and light for what I used to do, it didn't matter. All that mattered was just doing some exercise. And that's the way I look at it. Right, let's put it up to 80 kilos now. So getting lifting as part of your, not daily routine, but as part of your life, I think is really beneficial, especially if you're fighting or battling with some sort of chronic illness like I have been. It gives you an outlet for your stress. It gives you something that you can actually improve upon. Even so, for me, I'll be bleeding loads. It's not getting better, but I can improve at bench press, or I can increase my reps. I can get a little bit stronger, and then you look a bit better in the mirror, and that gives you a bit more happiness, I guess, because you might be feeling awful inside, but at least you're starting to look a bit better on the outside. And I do think that goes quite a long way actually into improving your mental health. I do have some notes on my laptop. I'll take a look after this. I've written a bunch of things that I thought was quite interesting about when I got back to lifting after having that time off and losing my progress. But yeah, it's just being consistent, sticking to it, all those sort of things. Oh God. Hit the rack there. I'm going to bring the bench a tad that way. Right, I'm just going to take a look at my notes. Let's see what's going on. It's a bit wet out here today. Let's have a look. So that's it. I wouldn't do massive workouts. What I would do is I'd split it up, because my energy levels, they weren't very high. So what I would do is just do bench, and I'd just go up to one set, literally just one heavy set, and I'd just call it there, because again, if you do have a chronic disease, your energy levels aren't very high to begin with. So sticking to quick workouts, just one exercise. One, it makes the idea of doing it not as daunting. You don't have to invest so much mental energy and be like, I'm going to have to work out for ages. You might just be working out for 10 minutes and you'll come out after that 10 minutes feeling better. And two, it's not as fatiguing physically. If you do one set, a decent set, it's not going to fatigue you as much as doing like 4 sets and additional exercise. And for those of you who just don't like the idea of lifting, committing to one exercise isn't that hard. And it might just be push-ups. Today I'm going to do push-ups or bench. Tomorrow I'm going to do squats or jumping or walking. And then the day after that I might try some pull-ups or get a dumbbell and row it or something like that, or hang off a bar. Like, it doesn't need to be too much, just hanging off a bar is good to get you started. If it's, say you can't do a pull-up, just hang there and maybe put your foot on the ground and help yourself pull up. Just at least get something going and just stick to that one thing and slowly add over time as you get like your energy levels go up. Right, let's see how 90 feels. Yep, we're sticking with 90 today. Well, typically I have actually carried on doing just one set. So I like to train that way. So if I go to the gym, I will do this. I've been sticking to feet up bench, and I will do 100 kilos, see how many reps I can do. Some days it's 1, some days, most days it's 7 at the minute, 7 reps. And then I'll probably just go do some machines or something. Right, let's carry on looking at my notes. Okay, so the next thing is food. Try and get that food in, and try and eat food that is going to fuel you. Something I've done over, I guess, the past few years is just slowly get myself off of all those foods that I know aren't good for me. So for instance, I used to eat a lot of takeaway. I used to get takeaway almost every day. Now I don't eat takeaway. Like for instance, for breakfast today, I just had some mince, meat. I had that with spinach. I had half an avocado in that, and then after that, I had some kefir with blueberries, a bit of peanut butter, some cinnamon and chia seeds. And to be honest, I have that most days. If I don't have the mince, I'll just have a bigger bowl of the kefir. I'll put some oats in it. But it's just eating food that you know isn't rubbish for you. I see a lot of people eating McDonald's and that sort of thing, and I just think, as someone who doesn't eat that sort of thing now, and I see people eating it, I just think, I know get it's cheap, but I just think it's a bit crazy because it's not doing anyone any good, and you don't feel good after. You might feel good for a little bit, like for the next hour, where it gives you some energy, and then just for me anyway, it makes you sort of crash. But what's interesting is having a bowel disease, I think, makes it easier for me to make those decisions compared to a lot of other people, because I feel the impact of eating something bad very quickly. So it sort of allowed me to, what's the word? Not food dysmorphia, but when you start treating food, I can't remember the word now. Well, anyway, it's like I get these strict rules about eating. If I was to go and eat a pizza, for example, I'd probably be on the floor. I'd have a big cramp. The reason why I'm on the floor is because I hurt so much. I'd have a big cramp. So it makes it really easy for me to make those decisions to just eat more foods you know is good for you, like just simple foods. But then I get kind of stuck. Say I go to the shop now and I just wanted something quick, and I was in that mindset. I'd be like, I look at the ready-made sandwiches and you look at the ingredients and you're like, why is there sugar in here? Why is there all this stuff? I don't even understand what they're trying to tell me. I just want ham and cheese and have it on some bread. I don't want the sugar in it. Or literally, I go in there and I'm like, I want some packaged chicken. Look at the ingredients. Do you think it'd just be chicken? Or whatever seasoning they put on? No, you look in there, there's sugar. And I'm like, why is there sugar? And then I get this anxiety where it's like, I can't buy anything in here. Like if I wanted to eat something, I'd have to buy a chicken and take it home and cook it to just get the chicken that I want. Whereas there's all these preservatives in the pre-made chicken, and at some point you have to accept it. If you're really hungry and you're buying food, you have to accept a bit of that processing, which you're trying to avoid. But for me, where you sort of really, the more you notice it, the more you don't want it. But at some point I do just accept it. So like, I will get a meal deal wrap, for instance, and I'll just eat it, even though I have looked at the ingredients before and I know it's not something I really should be eating, but sometimes I just do. But in that way, I do find choosing foods quite hard these days. Let's do another sec. Woo! That was 6. I think I benched about 3 days ago, so it's not feeling the best. And right now I've had a bit of a gut bug, So I haven't had much energy. I haven't worked out in these past 3 days, and lately I've been going to the gym pretty much every day, and that's a whole nother video I could talk about, which is what makes it easier for me is I haven't got anything else to do other than work. When I'm sit there, I'll either play a game or go to the gym. I just don't know what else to do with myself. But going back to the exercising, if, say for instance, I was flaring right now, I probably would have done one set of 90, which I'm doing now, and I would have tried to push past that 5 or 6 rep range, would have had someone spot me, and I like to call it the death set, where you load up a weight that you know is heavy and you just go for a large amount of reps, and once you're done you sort of come out, you feel like a bit shaky, it's hit your central nervous system, you feel exhausted, but you also feel great afterwards, and I would have left it at that. And I tend to do that quite a lot. Like I still do that with deadlift now. The other day I did 140 kilos, just Romanian deadlifts, and I did that for I think just 10, and wiped me out. The hallmark of knowing you've done, this happens more with leg exercises, but knowing that you've done a death set, you'll come out, you're panting, your legs are dead, you have to lie on the floor for 5 minutes, and then that's it. You don't need to do another set if you feel like that. You could if you wanted, but I don't really see the need. It's literally fine to leave it at that. So let's see if I had any more notes on here. Yeah, so regaining strength is easier than that initial gain. When I came out, and I think I was out of action of lifting for maybe 4 months, maybe 5 months, and I'd lost about 10 kilos of body weight. Coming back, strength was coming back quickly, and where I was eating more food than I had been before, it was a lot easier to add weight every session. I think I did get back to about 80% of where I was within about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. But I've never quite got back to where my strength was before hospital at this point. And my focus has sort of shifted. Whereas I'm not trying to push the weight on bench every time. I'm just trying to do a set that I feel does me good. Like today, I went into what I'm doing now with the idea I want to get a bit sore tomorrow. I'll probably need to do, how many sets I've done? 2? I probably need to do maybe 3 more sets, and then hopefully that'll be enough to get me sore, but we'll see. Let's have a look. Let's try another one. That reminds me, knowing your limits is very important. So I know I can bench this fine on my own. That last rep, it was a bit questionable because the rep went a bit slow, and I thought I'll go for another one, and it felt a bit risky. I do err on the side of risk, but not tremendous risk. Like if I felt like it was really hard to get that rep up, and I know if I went for an next rep I'd probably fail, I'm not going to do that because I've done that before and had the bar stuck on me out here. But it's just knowing, that comes with experience, is knowing your limits. A lot of times I'd be squatting out here and there's no safeties out here. If I was to drop the bar, it would destroy the tiles. So it's just knowing the risk and your limits, and don't push your limits. But I think that's a good thing to do most of the time, especially if you're dealing with a chronic disease. You don't want to push yourself into that extreme fatigue when you're already fatigued with what's going on inside of you. What you're aiming for is to actually feel better after this. And then once you're in a good space, like say you're in remission, you're feeling good, then it's time to, push it a bit. But until then, you're sort of just trying to maintain, try and grow a little bit slowly. We're not trying to grow very quickly, like grow our muscles. We just want to get in, do some exercise, feel healthy, and come out the next day maybe a little bit sore, but you're feeling better, and then just keep that momentum going. As you saw, you saw today, I didn't spend much time warming up, just a quick set of the empty bar, and then 60, 80, now I'm on 90. But that's because I've done it, I've been lifting maybe 4 years at this point, and I've done bench so many times, I don't feel like I need to warm up too much for it. And that's just comes with doing it over and over again. You'd think I'd be bored, but I'm not. I'm not bored. Because another thing is lifting out here in the garden. It's almost like when people say you get shower thoughts, which is when you're in the shower. It's the time of day where you have that time to yourself and you're not watching a video or trying to distract yourself. And it's the only time where your brain is allowed to sort of just to explore and just to have those thoughts, which is what's nice about lifting out here in the garden. There's not much going on, which suits me fine. Like, I'm not a fan of lifting with music, so I find it's quite a serene experience, if that's the way of putting it. Yeah, I'd say being able to lift heavy weights while you're relaxed is a lot better, because if I was out here trying to get hyped up, I just think that would lead to you either A, pushing yourself too hard and you sort of regretting it when you feel really fatigued or get stuck out here on your own, or it just uses a lot of your energy. And I did find it kind of funny for a while, but someone told me about this spoon system for energy. How many spoons do you have? But I've been using it more lately and I think it does really work. So it's basically a rating out of 10. How much energy have you got today? So today I feel like now that I'm out here, I feel like I'm at a good 7. Whereas before, when I was sat inside, I was just on my laptop watching videos. I didn't feel very energized, maybe like a 4. So I'd say coming out here, recording this video is giving me energy. And doing this bench, I just wanted to bench. So don't say if that gives me energy or not, but here we are. Right. Woo. Oh, that's getting pretty tasty now. Oh my. We'll go for another set and then I'll do a drop down set. So part of it is actually just enjoying it. I like lifting. Like I say, it has helped me a lot over time and I wouldn't have it any other way. Just checking 5 minutes until got to clip the camera. Yeah, so find a space for yourself where you can lift. Another thing is inside, I just got some dumbbells And I like to keep those around where I'd like to sit. And in that way, if you do find yourself you're sitting there, just get up and start lifting. Another thing I wanted to say was, times before when I've been flaring with my bowel disease, I come out here and I deadlift, like I said earlier, and a lot of what that gave me was this, I used to describe it as, it gave me that feeling of my man juices flowing. So like I felt awful, and I'd come out here and I'd deadlift and I'd feel like myself again. And then deadlifting into that range where it's hurting, your muscles are screaming, it sort of gives you that feeling like yes. That's what I say is the man juice feeling, like yes. That's the only way I'd describe it. And I just think that's a really good thing to access, actually, because when you feel shit all the time, I was trying not to swear there, when you feel shit all the time, you just want to do something to release some anger. You know, you do get pissed off of feeling so shit. And this gives you a chance to do something, it makes you feel like you're beating the bar up in a way. You're beating yourself up in a way that's making you feel better. Like a lot of times I'll say, I wish I just had a punch bag out here. I do want to get one at some point, because sometimes, you know, I think anyone, but especially as men, you just are angry. You get angry and you just want to release it. And I think we need to accept being angry sometimes and just be angry. I'm not saying lash out at people, but do something that releases that anger and is kind of productive. And I think hitting a bag, lifting some weights, it is productive and it's a good use of that anger. And I do think that's really important. And it's something that's really helped me. Well, I think this will be my last set of 90 anyway. It's starting to feel a bit hard. Okay. Yeah, we'll put that down to 80 and do one final set. Because damn, it's getting to the point where it's just hurting. Ooh. Yeah, so I'm feeling it now, like that release of stress. That's what I'm trying to access. This is the, I'd say, healing part of it. Because yeah, some days, I mean, if you've watched my other video, I've just not really been knowing what I'm doing with myself. I don't know what my direction in life is, and been questioning, like, why am I doing the things that I do? And when you're lifting and you reach that point where like it's starting to feel good, you don't question it. It's like, this is why I'm doing it. But a lot of it, how it started for me, was a social thing, really, like going to the gym with friends, and it became part of my life where I guess I'm very routine based. Like, routines really help me, I found, but I didn't know it at the time that I was forming a new routine for myself, a new thing that I could use in my day-to-day life. And it's like, deciding to lift isn't a question, it's just, when am I going to do it? And I think when you reach that point, it's so much easier to maintain lifting as part of your day-to-day life. It's that first sort of like 6 weeks. I think they say it's about 6 weeks to form a new habit. Getting to the gym and going with friends, I think, really helps you through that first 6 weeks. And yeah, like I said, when I started, it was about going with friends. And I didn't know it that I'd established that as part of my life. and that's why I've sort of clung on to it now. Because before I lifted, skateboarding was what I used to do. So I was always doing something physical, but skateboarding was what I do, and that started again as a friendship thing. I'd go out, and it was about hanging out with your friends, and skateboarding was secondary. And then over time, this might just be how my brain works, but I was just like, I need to get better at skateboarding. And it was about going out skateboarding, then it was about hanging out with friends. But I still felt like it was sort of equal, because I didn't want to do it without my friends. But eventually, like when I was skating, it'd be like the skateboarding would take over, like me trying to do like the perfect kickflip. And then failure was something that would really piss me off, and it still does, to be honest. There's something I struggle with now. Like say I'm playing a video game, especially shooting games, like Warzone and that, I get so pissed off. I don't let myself play them really anymore because I just get too angry. But going back to skateboarding, that's what was going on. Like if you knew me back then, you'd probably have seen me on the seafront swearing, yelling. I'd be half naked skating because I'd be so hot and angry, throwing my board around because I didn't land the kickflip exactly how I wanted. And it might have been a really good kickflip, but I would have been like, it's not what I wanted the kickflip to be. So I'd be livid, absolutely fuming. And it just became sort of toxic to my life. And that's why I don't skateboard anymore. And luckily I lift now, because I don't get that with the lifting. I'm glad my mindset isn't like that with the lifting, because, you know, yes, there's a perfect way to do bench press theoretically, but it doesn't matter. It's just about putting in some work. And I find that a lot better for my head. Skateboarding was very toxic. Like, I would feel a direct impact of it when I'd go out, get really angry. Sounds really silly when I say it. I'd go out, get really angry, skateboarding, I'd come home, and where I've got the bowel disease, I'd go to the bathroom, and there would be blood in my stool. And I could say, like, the direct impact that my anger has, like real anger. It wasn't just like a sort of aggressiveness, like when you're punching a bag or lifting, you're getting a bit aggressive with the bar. No, it was anger, like I had a headache. And I guess that experience taught me how your emotions directly impact your body. And I think that's really useful to me, because a lot of people might not understand that relationship so well. So for instance, it's the same with anxiety. When I've been really anxious, I feel it very quickly, like in my gut. Like it does. I feel like when I have the anxiety, about an hour or two later, I will feel it inside of me, in my gut. And it's the same with anger. And then you sort of carry that with you for a bit. It feels good to talk about it now. Yeah, and I don't get that with the lifting. It's almost therapeutic, so it's quite different. Yeah, that's exactly it. So let's do this set of 80. It's starting to hurt a bit, so I should probably stop benching. So what I'm going to do now is actually a few skull crushers just to finish my triceps off, and we'll leave it there. But I tell you what, that set just reminded me how a lot of the times now I use lifting to sort of purge my emotions. And what I mean by that is I might be feeling really anxious. Anxiety is something I feel quite a lot. I might be feeling really worried. There's a lot of videos I want to make about these topics. So yeah, anxious, worried. I call them thought loops. I get stuck in thought loops. So I'm just worrying about the same thing over and over and over again, and I can't get it out of my head. And I find doing the lifting helps purge that. I'm just getting my 5 kilo plates. There we go. So yeah, I use lifting to purge. I call it purging my emotions. So if I'm feeling sad or anything, after lifting, I won't feel so sad. Yeah, and thought loops and all that sort of thing is something I want to make a whole video on, because that's something I have struggled a lot with in my life, and I've sort of been learning more about now in the past year. I've been learning more about why it happens. Yes. I've been learning more about how my brain works, and it sort of answers a lot of questions for me. But just getting sidetracked, going back to all this, lifting, having a disease, being tired, or maybe you don't have a disease, you're just unfit, no motivation. Lifting will help that. Eating better will help that. But sleep is the most important thing. And that's the thing I've worked on the most in the past year since I've been to hospital, sleep. And I want to do a whole video on sleep. But sleep is probably the thing that's made the biggest impact for me, my well-being, recovery, and my sense of like I'm able to do things, my anxiety, the list goes up. Anyway, let me show you what I'm going to do here. So this is how I hit my triceps at home. You get yourself a nice weight that you think's good for your triceps. Right, you put that here and you push up. And this, I actually got this idea from Athlenex. Shout out to Sam Ali. Yeah, just don't look out fully and then you'll really feel it. I make a lot of stupid noises. Oh my god. Okay, we'll do a couple more sets of that. Oh, do you know what I find? Hitting your arms makes you feel more knackered than the big compounds. I mean, like obviously squats get you tired, but say I'm doing bench, just that tricep exercise makes you feel more spent. I mean, you can hear my voice is gone. Getting a bit hot now. Let's take this jacket off. It's a little bit cold here in the UK. I do find I run quite hot most of the time. Oh, blimey. So this isn't by all means a big workout. I've literally just done bench and I'm hitting triceps, and that's as far as my plan goes. It doesn't go any further than that, but I'll be happy with that. Triceps feeling a bit wobbly. So another thing I'd usually do is I like to film my biggest set. So I didn't do it today, but I'd use this bottle over here and lean my phone against it and I like to track. Usually, like if I'm going for 100 kilos, I'll record it, and then I can sort of track it, and I can look back at my phone, be like, this day I hit 7 reps, this day I hit 1 rep, this day I hit 8 reps, and then you just get a little record. A better way would be to record it on like a spreadsheet, but I don't do that. I just like to film it and see how it goes. Oh, let's do another set of triceps. Oh, I'm feeling spent. So I like to get my head right up to the top of the bench, otherwise the bar hits it. And I like to get my thumbs, call it suicide grip. For this, I like to use that grip, which is your thumbs aren't gripping it. Okay, we'll do one more set and then I'll leave it there. It's just a thought I had during that set was making peace with your faults. And what I mean by that is if there's something wrong with you, you just accept it and you work around it. You don't let it stop you. So for instance, I used to love doing back squat. So putting the bar on my back, doing a squat. And I used to love coming out here, like I said earlier, doing a def set. And these days I've been getting quite a lot of sharp knee pain in my right leg. So I scrapped doing back squat because it was just causing me pain. But I've been trying to work around it. I don't let it stop me going to the gym. I still do other leg exercises. My legs are nowhere near as strong as they were, and I'm trying to improve my knee health so I can go back to back squatting, but I don't let it stress me out. Training legs or quads isn't too big of a priority for me because otherwise I just get upset about it. Oh, it's quite nice lying here looking at the clouds move. Oh, blimey. Okay, let's do this last set. I might even do a drop set, so I'll do as many as I can, strip the 5s off, go again, and then we'll ends the workout. Oh. Oops. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh. Blimey. Okay, I'm done. Oh. All right. Shall we end the video with a physique check? I guess so. If we're doing a video about lifting, I mean, why not? I feel like I'm happy with how I look, but I'm not the biggest. Let's have a look. Just got to take this microphone off. I'm just going to put it here. It's me not flexing. Yeah, so this is me unflexed. Now I'll do a bit of flexing. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I look. I've always been quite veiny. I was like that before I lifted. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I doubt many of you have, but I like making these sort of videos, and yeah, I'll speak to you more going forward. So thank you, see you next video.